Hi, this is BK Jackson, one of the hosts of the Play Your Way podcast. And before we get started with this week's episode, I just felt it was important to give you guys a quick primer on what's going on. We had recorded an episode the Sunday before we released this, but then the 22nd of May, 2017, several very important things happened in our world that kind of affected the landscape of what would happen and how you guys would probably perceive our viewpoint on what was going on. So as our namesake, we wanted to show you guys what was most important, the player way, and therefore we recorded 2 episodes this week. So in a weird twist of fate, we're going to play you guys right now episode 4, and then we'll double back and talk about episode 3. Hopefully you guys enjoy it that way. And on a lighter note, the Play Your Way podcast would like to publicly welcome Darius Prather to the Play Your Way network. He's going to be a staff writer for us, writing articles. He's already written a couple of amazing articles that you can find at playlifeyourway.com. If you'd like more information about writing for the Play Your Way network, send us an email to playyourwaypodcast@gmail.com. That's playyourwaypodcast@gmail.com. On with the show.
In a world where comics, movies, games, rumors, and Kardashians come at you 24/7, 3 champions will rise to defend you from wasting precious time, money, and emojis. BK, Nate, and Derek will show you how to do it. The Player Way.
Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, I guess it's just time to go ahead and get right on into this. As of May 22nd, there's been a lot of things that have happened. First and foremost, just kind of explain why it sounds like an odd day and why we're coming at you this way. Normally, we would record on Sunday to kind of get a cap of the weekend and a preview of the upcoming week. We did record on Sunday, but I think what we're going to do instead is put this episode up first. Because there's been quite big news. Apparently, the Hollywood Reporter broke the news on Tuesday in the afternoon that Zack Snyder steps down from Justice League to deal with family tragedy. Now, in case you don't know, Zack Snyder and his wife Deborah had one of their daughters back in March committed suicide. And of course, all of us here at the Player Way podcast, one of my co-captains, Derek.
Condolences. Salutations.
Yeah. And then Nathan. Yeah. We have been kind of talking about this, and we thought we would press the record button and just kind of give you guys kind of some talk about that, as well as some additional things that have been going on in the media. So, again, first and foremost, talking about the filmmaker's daughter committing suicide in March, and apparently he was kind of prompted to take a break from work, but he decided to go ahead and finish the superhero pick himself. Nate, I mean, you and I were the first people to get online and start talking about this. What is your take on this? I mean, it's kind of out of nowhere.
Definitely was out of nowhere. I can understand him wanting to initially consume himself with work to try to get past, the tragedy. But, I feel for the guy. That's something no one should ever have to go through. It does raise, not to stray away from the tragedy part, it does raise a couple questions for me on the actual film itself. It's set to come out in November, which is 6 months away. Look, you got to wonder how much of it is done. Joss Whedon. Did we forget to mention that? Joss Whedon is replacing him. Finish off the...
I had not mentioned that yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what's crazy about is DC switches to the Avengers filmmaker. So that's kind of crazy, first and foremost. It's a weird story. First and foremost, I want to make sure, and we've already kind of said this, but again, our condolences to the Snyder family in all of this. While it is our job to talk about media the player way, we never want to capitalize the feel-good, funny, comic book type stuff over someone's life. So definitely condolences from all of us about that. But I also feel like we all felt like we had a responsibility to kind of take a break from our normal lives to kind of talk about how this kind of affects the landscape of an already turbulent and tumultuous DCEU. Derek, what's your take on some of this?
Well, as you stated, I just want to reiterate, condolences definitely to the Snyder family. That's, as a parent, that's something all parents fear, the nightmare of outliving a child, and especially an ultimate purposeful outliving of your children is definitely devastating. So definitely condolences to the Snyder family. And my thoughts, shifting gears a little bit, accelerating from the tragedy a little bit, is for the DC universe. As a movie fan, as a comic fan, to be honest, I'm okay with it being shifted over to Whedon. I appreciate Zack Snyder's visions for the DC universe. However, a lot of gripes with regards to the dark nature, the never a sunshiny day in the DC universe, those type of things are common groans among the fans and moviegoers alike with this. And this may be a long shot silver lining for the DC universe. As we all know, they're throwing these movies at us completely randomly, and in my mind. Now, I know they have a plan. However, after seeing the perfect formula of let's introduce characters appropriately in the MCU, DC has struggled to even try to keep up. And this may end up giving a different perspective, assisting with the struggling cinematic DC universe, to be honest. And I feel that this may end up helping out from a fans and moviegoers perspective. This may end up helping out with Whedon's visions and how he handled the MCU in very, very good ways. So I think this may end up helping out. Now, I know the majority is going to be heavy in Snyder, since we're just 6 months away from it being released. However, the flip coin of this is this may end up working out for the better with their plan.
Well, you gotta kind of kind of wonder
go ahead.
Exactly how much he'll actually add.
He's going to really be doing.
Yeah. Because the majority of it's filmed. He's probably going to do a lot of post-production work, maybe some pickup shots. But Whedon is he's a writer-director. He likes writing his own stuff, then directing it. So I got to imagine this sets him up to do, Justice League 2 and do it his way.
Precisely.
Well, absolutely. Well, you both are kind of heading this direction, and I've already credited Hollywood Reporter for breaking the story. The article is on HollywoodReporter.com, and it was written by writer Boris Kitt. And one of the things that Kitt talks about, I'll just read it straight off of the article. It says, Snyder tells the Hollywood Reporter he is stepping away from Justice League, Warner Brothers' all-star DC Comics superhero mega movie that is in post-production in order to deal with the sudden death of his daughter. Snyder's wife, Deborah Snyder, who is the producer on Justice League, is also taking a break to focus on the healing of their family. Stepping in to shepherd the movie through post and shooting of additional scenes will be Joss Whedon, the Avengers filmmaker and creator of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. With Whedon's help, the movie is still on track for its November 17th release date. So I think you were exactly right, Nate, is that they are already looking at post-production, and I guess in Snyder's mind, they're pretty much done already. But, I think there's a little bit more to it. I think studio politics is something that is tough to deal with. You can expect them to care for your family and care about you as a asset, but at the same time, they see you as an asset as opposed to a person. So they want you to just get back to work when you get into these situations. In fact, here's the quote from Zack Snyder. "In my mind, I thought it was a cathartic thing to go back to work, to just bury myself and see if that was the way through it," said the emotional Zack Snyder in an interview Monday in his office on the Warner Brothers lot, with Deborah sitting by his side. "The demands of this job are pretty intense. It's all-consuming. And in the last 2 months, I've come to the realization that I've decided to step back from the movie to be with my family, be with my kids who really need me. They are all having a hard time. I'm having a hard time." So, my thing about it is I have a feeling we all have heard rumors about the issues going on with the Flash movie. And we've heard about rumblings with different properties and how they were going to handle it and how they've been dealing with the competition. You got to wonder if Zack Snyder had this idea, and his wife, being a producer on the film, they had this idea that they were going to power through it, and maybe the stress of the pressure of having to do what the impossible, which is to beat Marvel at this point, maybe it's too much. Maybe there's something more going on. What do you guys think about that?
That's an excellent point. And in that same article that you've credited, he goes on to say that he never even planned to make this public. So it lends validation of perhaps there is something more happening behind the scenes, to where, as we all know, how politics has seeped its ugly head into nearly every aspect of our lives, and Hollywood is not precluded from this in any way, shape, or form. And we all know, even if we don't always admit, that things that happen, whether it be tragedy or joyous occasions or just monotony, are always spun to the benefit of who holds the most ducats. And it is the ugly and revealing truth of this business that they're in. So it's very probable. I'm not even gonna say it's more than likely that there is something else happening, and with also this negative story being behind the scenes for 2 months, because this happened back on March 20th. For 2 months, for it to be the caveat to lead into, oh, by the way, this is also happening. Not taking away from, yes, the actuality of that also is the case, but there may be something else going on behind the scenes.
All right, so check this out. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't think it's any secret. Snyder has gotten a lot of slack from Batman v Superman. And since then, they've announced a whole slew of movies years ago, starting with Batman vs. Superman, then Wonder Woman, and then they, all the way through Cyborg, Aquaman. And like you mentioned before, Flash has gone through 2 or 3 directors, can't seem to get it off the ground. With the Batman movie, Ben Affleck dropped out of directing. People are wondering if he's going to stick around with even being Batman after Justice League. And then they started, announcing Batman-centric movies. Gotham City Sirens with Harley Quinn, Nightwing. It sounded like they went from building a DC universe to a Batverse, and that's what they were going to focus on.
Well, but not only that, it goes more so that there's been something else going on. Like, yes, there's a tragedy going on here that we know happened around the end of March. But if you guys recall, and we were talking about this around the same time that it happened, especially Nathan and I, Batgirl flying solo was something that was decided and was talked about in Variety. And Joss Whedon was the filmmaker announced by Toby Emmerich from Warner Brothers. And that was around March 30th. So it's interesting that now we're hearing this development that now Joss Whedon is taking the helm of Justice League itself. It has to make you wonder if there is something going on, and we'll know. Zack Snyder has a very distinctive visual style. So when we see this film come out, first of all, I have a feeling that it's not going to still make November. What do you guys think?
I think there's a good chance it could get delayed.
I think so too.
real good chance.
I don't see it. I don't see it still coming out in November. I definitely see like a Christmas. But the problem with Christmas is that's
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
December
No,
belongs
I
to
wouldn't
Star
be
Wars.
surprised if it, got delayed to next year, maybe summer next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a smart thing. I think the best thing to do is delay it, and I think that's what's going to happen. I think they're going to get into some. Although
I
go
agree.
ahead.
I agree wholeheartedly. December will belong to Star Wars. November will belong to Thor. Why even try to compete? Why even try to compete when you've been losing for years? Why even try to compete? So financially, it would be a good move to wait.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Financially, well, I don't know if financially is a good idea. I think financially it would be bad for them. It would make it extremely more expensive.
Maybe they're going to wait to see how Wonder Woman does first, and then
Oh yeah, that's coming
make a
up. I
decision
forgot about
based
that.
on that. Yeah, because that comes out in a couple weeks. They'll see how that tracks, and then decide from there whether or not they should delay it.
Well, I think Wonder Woman's going to do great. I have no reason. I mean, especially considering what's in theaters right before it. We talked a little bit on a previous episode, which I guess will now appear after this one. We talked about Alien Covenant and how
For no reason.
Alien Covenant didn't do so well over this last.
Thank you, Nate.
But about how that didn't do so well, and it's not going to fare very well in the weeks coming. And then, of course, Pirates of the Caribbean is not going to do so well at all. So there's not a lot that's going to be competing with Wonder Woman at all. So it is primed, and it's at the right place to do very well in the box office. So I think depending on Wonder Woman to either be a stumbling block for them, I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to work out just fine. And even based on what else is around appearing in the box office around that time, you're not going to have anything to studios will be able to spin it as if it was a successful movie, even if it was a mediocre opening. What do you guys think?
I mean, haven't they been doing that with their movies so far?
Yeah,
absolutely.
yes.
Superman and Suicide
Yes.
Squad. Well,
So-
in those cases, they did make money. They didn't make Marvel money, but they did make money. So
Absolutely.
give it to them for that.
Yeah, so it remains to be seen what is going to rise from the ashes of this whole situation. And not to make a bad transition joke, but I guess I just did too soon. Manchester happened. UK terror threat level raised to critical, according to the BBC.com. And 22 people were killed, 59 injured when a suicide bomber attacked Manchester Arena on Monday evening during an Ariana Grande concert. I mean, it's crazy. Like, all of these things are happening at the same time. What do you guys think about how that's going to affect people's... Is it going to be a sobering thing like September 11th? What do you guys think is going to happen with media over the summer, with this kind of starting the summer off?
To be honest, it's reported we become calloused to these things because they aren't as local. However, they still are happening out there. There are no Middle Eastern links to this particular guy. Not even ISIS is taking the blame or credit for this.
I think they did. Didn't they?
They haven't actually officially. They haven't even like anything that happens. Usually they'll be like, oh yeah, we did that, but it was early on in the story. It was reported that they did, but they have made no official statement that they're tied to this person in any way. There was a Twitch streamer reporter that made a terrible joke about it. Said, the first time I went to an Ariana Grande concert, I almost died too. Which shortly thereafter, when she realized that there were actually 20 deaths, now he quickly recanted that. But it was actually a CBS reporter that did that. But this was young kids. I mean, it's an Ariana Grande concert, so you're thinking tween to teenagers. I mean, this is not not that ages of the victims would make it less tragic. However, when it is children involved, we all know that that's much more of a negative impact, just to be honest, to perfectly contradict exactly what I was just stating. So it's going toward over the summer. To be honest with you, I don't think it's going to adjust much, just because this is the world we live in. This is something that happens, unfortunately, but this is the planet we've created. This is the society we've created. This is how we've just become. And these type of things aren't going to affect. We don't really want them to impact what we want to do in our lives. And honestly, most people are gonna keep pressing forward, because it's easier to press forward instead of deal with it. Perfectly illustrated by our previous story where we were talking about was Zack Snyder.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it's hard not to be a little naive about it when it's not happening, near you,
exactly.
to you. I mean, we had the attacks on Paris and France, like a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad, but, again, I mean, not to sound like an asshole, but, we don't live in Manchester, so
right.
We don't really get the full effect of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think definitely with the connection to, ironically enough, as much as people want to kind of not make a big deal about it, or they want to be disconnected from it, or want to make light of the fact that Ariana Grande was attached to it, I think because she was attached to it, I think the media is going to pay a little bit more attention. Obviously, people are going to be having her on interviews pretty soon and want to get her take on it. I mean, they kind of already have. But yeah, this is it's definitely a sobering experience, and kind of helps to remind people what is more important. And I definitely believe that it's going to push people to be going to the movies, to be spending time with their family, playing video games and Mario Kart, and doing the things that make them feel better, at least for a little while. And so that's another reason why we thought this was an important thing to talk about. We like to do our moment of silences as something funny usually, but today, definite moment of silence for those victims of the Manchester catastrophe, and also for Zack Snyder's family, even though that was an experience they experienced during March.
Just to amend something I just stated, that guy freelances for CBS. David Levitt, he freelances, not actually directly. Just to correct myself. And another noted Hollywood death today, BK, I don't know if you guys heard, but Roger Moore, 89 years old. He died today.
Yeah, heard about Roger Moore.
A lot of people tout him as one of the best Bonds out there. Personally,
James Bond.
Personally, I appreciate Sean Connery because it's Sean Connery, but I've never been a huge Bond fan myself, so I'm not going to say I've watched all 37 Bond films. I don't even know how many there are. But definitely, at least respect. That's Roger Moore. Very well known. Definitely well known for Bond. Took over after Sean Connery, which that was definitely big shoes to fill.
I never really got into James Bond either. The most I was ever into James Bond was GoldenEye on Nintendo 64.
You know, the older I get, the more I get into them, especially the Sean Connery ones, man. Like, the Sean Connery ones were cheeky, man. Like, they had these little jokes, and they really got into, like, the name of stuff and the suggestive names of certain women and things like that. And
you couldn't be referring to Octopussy, could you?
I'm telling you, man, it was some crazy stuff. I mean, you definitely should go back and definitely at least watch Octopussy if you have not seen that. I mean, that's a good one to watch.
And then on Austin Powers,
the old school Casino Royale.
Austin Powers,
Casino Royale
was
pretty
named, like,
good.
Lot of Vagina or something like that, and the Austin Powers.
Yes, exactly.
So.
Well,
but honestly, Casino Royale could have been any action movie. He could have played anybody, even if it wasn't James Bond, and it'd still be a good movie. Because I didn't really like any of the Bond movies he did after that. Like Quantum of Solace wasn't that good. What was Skyfall? You know, What was the last one? I couldn't even tell you.
Spectre.
Spectre.
Yeah, fuck that noise. You
Well,
know?
there you go. I believe at this point.
There you go.
I believe at this point that Nathan has renamed his recycle bin on his desktop Bryan Cranston, and just everything goes right into that thing that he doesn't like. So Spectre is gone.
Well, and there's something now, and you were talking about a lot of vagina. Speaking of a lot of vagina, something else that happened in the news, Billy Bush finally broke his silence about his comment along with the current president, Donald Trump. The Access Hollywood former host talks about a comeback plan. Apparently he's going to be hosting this show pretty soon about other former stars that went through controversy and how they make their way back. So, I mean, nobody wants to really see that from Billy Bush. I mean, he's a nice enough guy. I do feel like he suffered too much. I feel like it wasn't a big deal, and I think he played the whole thing the wrong way. I think everyone is mad at him for just sitting next to a powerful man, a man who eventually became the president of the United States. That type of visceral type of that manliness, that virile is what I'm looking for, word-wise. When you sit next to that greatness, regardless of what you may think about Donald Trump, I mean, you can't just sit there and try to, like, not laugh at his joke. I mean, it's his job to help make the other stars that he's hosting for and with, you know, feel comfortable. So people got upset with this man for just laughing. He didn't even say nothing wrong. He just laughed. And the man damn near lost his career. So glad that he's finally making his way back. Hopefully he doesn't completely lose everything. But yeah, that's something in the news.
Is he on like Access Hollywood?
Yeah. He was on Access Hollywood. He was on track to be kind of like a B-level, like Ryan Seacrest type of guy. And because, I mean, it's the truth. I mean, for lack of a better term, I mean, that's basically what he was. And I mean, just sitting next to him, I mean, because, you know, Hollywood didn't want Trump to be president. I mean, it's as simple as that. He got fired for that. That's really what this man got fired for, is because, oh, you like Donald Trump. Okay, well, we're going to fix that. Yeah, and it backfired on him because Trump actually won. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to, like, condemn a man who supported the president. You know, you kind of have to support your country.
Only in America.
You want to give the man his job back? You want to not think it wasn't that big of a deal? You know?
Well, the bigger question is, what has he been doing?
Exactly. Well, he's been hiding. Well, here's what he's been doing. Apparently what he's been doing is he's been going to like retreats and listening to Tony Robbins and walking on like hot coals.
Tony Robbins, hungry.
Like, he went on a
Speaking of which,
like, you know.
Have you guys? There's a Tony Robbins documentary on Netflix. It's fucking
fascinating. I've been meaning to go watch that.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to watch that. Is it good?
Yeah, no, it's real good. He's a lot more vulgar than I thought it was. Like every other word out of his mouth is fuck.
That's hot fire if Nate says that.
That hot fire.
But he makes
not
so
cold fire.
Much
That's
money.
hot
because
fire.
I spit hot fire.
That's hot
it
fire, not
costs
cold
so
fire.
much to go to one of these, one of his little conferences.
So stupid. Sorry, we did that thing where we distract each other. What did you just say?
It's okay. I mean, it was just about Tony Robbins. I was just gonna say it costs so much to go to one of these.
Just about Tony Robbins.
But dude, he's rich. Tony Robbins got fuck you money, man. I mean, he's
and bring it full circle, and rightfully so. I mean, even if you don't believe in self-help, if it helps you, then it's worth its weight in gold. And so that's what he's been doing with Billy Bush. I mean, gosh, shout out for him, man. Like, I feel so bad for. What do y'all think about this thing? I don't want to make it too long. But, I mean, do y'all think, are y'all with me that, like, we all, well, not we, but the media crucified this man for nothing?
Wait, is this the grab her by the pussy tape?
Oh, yeah, this is the guy. It's the same guy.
Yep, this is.
And he wasn't on I mean, I didn't listen to the tape, and all he was doing was laughing.
Yeah, they were just telling. You know how we talk when we're not on the podcast.
Yeah,
when we
he
just talking.
Had the recording. He was just present with with Donald. Had the conversation, and since ultimately the media would like to say that this almost just completely crippled the Trump campaign, and there's no way he's going to be able to be president after this. Trump had already won the presidency, in essence. Like, to be honest,
he really did.
When it comes to politics, if I can get on my little soapbox real quick with you guys, when it comes to politics,
get it.
People
shine it up.
People only want to hear other people that agree with them, and this is true in most people who argue just to argue, not actually debate. When you have a group of people who is almost represented by 40% of the country who only want to hear other people that say their own opinions to them, and you have the other half, so to speak, of, the red side who only want to hear what they want to hear, spoon-fed to them, and both sides think that they understand what the other side's points of view are, you have 80% of a country that have no idea what the other party is standing for or against, and the same thing holds true for their own particular candidate. This is beautifully represented by the Trump versus Clinton presidential race, because if you asked a Democrat, oh, well, Hillary's clearly going to win, there's no way that Trump's going to win. Why do you say that? Because it's Donald Trump. Oh, well, that's just your logic that you're going with? It's Donald Trump. He's a reality star. He's an idiot. There's no way he's going to do. Yeah, you could have said that at the beginning, but he made it all the way to the finalist, and he might win the presidency. Oh, there's no way he's going to win. Hillary's going to win. And if you go on the other side of the table, well, Hillary's a crook. There's no way she's going to win, and this, that, and the other, and blah, blah, blah. And then who ended up winning? Because neither side was willing to really be honest and open with themselves about, this guy is going to win the presidency. And to be honest, I wasn't really excited about him being able to win the presidency. But part of me was like, this is going to prove all the American people that, yes, he will, because this man is a great salesman. He is a great arguer, even though he rarely makes valid points. And he showed that I can win the presidency based off grit and gut alone. I have zero political experience, and I will step into this dirty ring with all of you other politicians and show you exactly how to win a presidency. And he did it. And the gentleman that we were just speaking with, Bush,
Billy Bush.
Yeah, he got backlash because he put this out there to smear Trump, but Trump is his worst enemy himself. He tweets every morning and has no problem shooting himself in the foot, but he still wins. He still wins. So Billy Bush was just a casualty of attempting to take down the powerful steam engine of what Donald Trump was going to be and currently still is. So you're right, he did obtain a punishment not befitting of the crime. He didn't do anything wrong. He did nothing different than CNN would, than Fox News would, than NBC would. He did exactly what a reporter should do. Hey, I'm in the media. I'm reporting this.
Exactly. Make him feel comfortable.
Yes, and I'm going to go ahead and step down, but I agree. There was no reason for this guy to get any backlash, for him to get the same type of treatment as Mr. Nappy-Headed Hose himself a few years back got.
All the hose.
and just like Bill O'Reilly, he's not punished at all either. I mean, he might have lost his job on Fox News, but you think that hurt him? Come on, y'all are firing media journalists for doing exactly what you hired them to do. I don't understand it. I'm not going to fire a football player on my team for carrying the ball. I don't understand why the same logic doesn't apply to these gentlemen. So now I've actually stepped off the box. I've kicked it to the side. It's under the bed.
Absolutely. That's what's up. That's what's up, D. That's what's up, D. He hit us with that politics the player way.
Free Billy Bush.
Free Billy Bush. Free Billy Bush.
Hashtag.
Fun fact, Nate. Tony Robbins is worth $480 million. $480
That's what I mean.
million.
He's got a lot of fuck you money. He doesn't care.
He's half as rich. He's more than half as rich as Larry David, the creator of Seinfeld. To put that in perspective. So anyway,
it costs a massive. It costs thousands to go to one of his seminars.
Dude,
it's literally And you got to think there's thousands of people that go.
I want a piece of that dark
paying
world
4 or
that I
5
can get
grand.
that kind of money to do that.
Hey, and speaking of the dark world, let's talk about this dark universe. I knew about this, but I gotta pass it over to Nate because Nate perfected it and brought us to the article. Tell us about it, bro.
Alrighty. Dark, ever since Marvel came out with the Avengers and it was the massive success that it was, all these movie studios have been clamoring to establish their own sort of shared universe, not unlike the Avengers. And this is Universal. Universal owns the rights to all these monster movies that we all have grown up to love. Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolfman,
Swamp Thing, or the thing from the Black Lagoon.
Creature
The
from the
Invisible
Black
Man.
Creature
Invisible
from the
Man,
Black
yes,
Lagoon, the
yeah.
Invisible Man, Wolfman, and
Even Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
yeah. So this is
yeah.
their. I had thought they were going to start.
Shout out
this,
to League
or
of
they
Extraordinary
tried to start
Gentlemen.
This. Terrible fucking movie.
Hey.
Yeah.
Dude, Derek, don't even start with Nate.
I like that
can
movie
talk about how
for
much I love
sentimental
League of
reasons
Extraordinary-
only.
Exactly.
I like that movie for
What?
sentimental
Exactly, me too. Because we actually
Sentimental
read
It was
books
not
as
properly
kids.
executed.
Because we actually read books as kids. Exactly.
No. First
Anyway,
of all,
Go ahead,
But back to the story.
Look.
Just shut it down before Nate.
No, just
Don't
get back to
Don't put
yes,
it into
go
Bryan
ahead.
Cranston.
I thought they were going to start this. They had been talking about it for years, ever since the Avengers. I thought they started this a few years ago with Dracula Untold, which no one seemed to like. And honestly, it wasn't that good of a movie. But it's now going to start with The Mummy. Tom Cruise's The Mummy, which comes out this summer. I think like July or
The
something.
9th of June.
Yes, that's correct.
Or is it July?
Yeah. And
9th of June,
I
actually.
thought it was the 9th of June.
June.
Oh, shit,
9th of
June?
June.
Oh.
It's the 9th of
Yeah,
June.
dude.
Yes.
Who even
It's
knew?
going to be
All
the
right,
biggest
all
movie
right,
of
guess-
June.
That's why I said that Wonder Woman didn't have a ton of competition. This Wonder Woman's gonna stomp all over this movie.
Yeah. I mean, this all, they announced. So they came out with an article and announced that these other
You're just
characters
sleeping
are
on
gonna be
Pirates
in
of the
this
Caribbean
shared-
like it's not going to be the biggest movie of the summer, BK. Come on. Come on.
Hey, Derek, I think your phone cut out. I heard just a bunch of
Yeah.
silence after you said you're gonna sleep on, and then I didn't hear anything after that. And then I heard you say, "Come on."
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on over there. You didn't hear anything either, did you? Did you, Nate?
No.
No, I don't know what you're talking
I think.
about. But anyway,
Wait, I think he said
I
something
bet
about the
Pirates has a
Bahamas.
bigger opening weekend than Wonder Woman. I said it.
what movie? is
I
gonna have
will
a bigger
I will
opening weekend? didn't
I
hear
will
anything.
pay a quarter to someone who proves it wrong.
Prove what wrong? I don't.
Oh,
we
you
haven't
still
said
you
the
just
movie.
can't understand it, huh? All right, okay.
No,
All right, okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't smell what you're cooking.
Okay. All right. Because I ordered pizza and it's on the way. It hasn't got here yet. The pizza's not here yet, so you can't smell it.
you forget that Baywatch is coming out the same weekend as this movie, bro.
Did you say Baywatch?
Next week?
Yeah. Say it again.
Baywatch with The Rock, Zac Efron, and The Business?
Yeah. I
That
think
comes out
you
next
think
weekend?
you think same weekend.
That.
I mean, am I right? I mean, let
I
me
think
fact
you
check
are.
this real
I
quick.
think you are. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Baywatch is coming out the same weekend as that movie that shall not be named on this podcast, and it is not going to do anything. With all its strength and nothing to do with it.
Pirates will be the biggest movie of this weekend. It will be a close. It will be a first place. Baywatch will be a second place. And Pirates will still beat Wonder Woman the first week of June.
Oh, you putting on. Now, see, you putting on for these people. Listen, if you are a fan of Pirates of the Caribbean, look, I said it. Do not listen to Derek. He's trying to gas y'all up so y'all can go out there and waste your money.
All right.
So don't do it. That is
You're
not the plan.
underestimating the
Pirates-
power of Disney. That's what you're underestimating, BK. I will at least say that. You're underestimating Disney. The owner of Star Wars.
So,
Yeah, but that's Star Wars. No, they haven't made a Pirates movie since what? 2011? Has it
So
been
they've
5,
had
6
time
years?
to make it. All right, my bad. Let's Dark Universe.
I will give it this. Pirates
sorry, y'all.
4
I'm just-
was a $1 billion movie, but it has been a long time since the last one, And Johnny Depp has not. He's had a string of.
And it's
misses.
been a longer time since the last good one.
Yeah.
In his humble opinion.
It's no.
And
No.
you bringing back Orlando Bloom does nothing to me. Because honestly, I didn't really miss him.
Well, and no, we didn't. And on top of that, you got to remember, Pirates was the shit.
Yes,
before
the goal
Mordecai
to
came
get
out.
BK to talk about
Mordecai
Pirates and
came
say
out.
it on the show is complete. Yes! Yes! Talk about
Anyway,
it, BK. Talk about it.
Mordecai of the Caribbean. Is coming out this coming weekend. So you guys have fun with that. The rest of you guys go see Baywatch, and then the people who really want to do movies to play away go see Guardians of the Galaxy another time.
Yes.
I'm gonna hit it one more time.
I'll tell you this:
anyway.
I'm leaving the country because Pirates of the Caribbean is coming out.
There you go.
This guy.
There you go.
This guy
All
over
right.
here.
So anyway, let me just tie this up because we totally got off track. Basically, what we're talking about is the Mummy, the new Mummy movie that has no connection to Brendan Fraser's Mummy, that is starring
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise, exactly, is part of this universe that has been long in the works. They have been trying with some monster movies here and there, but they're finally announcing it. And not only are they just going to start with just the Mummy, they're also going to have Dr. Jekyll and presumably Mr. Hyde in the Mummy.
Yes.
So that's who Russell Crowe plays, is Dr.
And
Jekyll.
he's
That
gonna
is not a
be
spoiler. It's in the trailer.
He's supposed to be the Nick Fury to
Yes.
all these other monsters.
Dr. Jekyll,
Yeah.
because he understands what it means to be a monster. He has a much better understanding than most people. So I think with Russell Crowe and Tom Cruise and people like that, it has no choice but to succeed, but it's got a slippery slope uphill both ways to climb in order to compete with Wonder Woman. So best of luck to see if this dark universe is going to shine or if it's going to end up inside of a black hole.
Well, yeah, because
Well put.
they already announced who's going to be. Look,
Space jargon. Yes. Yes. Yes.
they've already
Loved it.
announced Johnny Depp as the Invisible Man and Javier Bardem as
Wait, hold up. What'd you just say?
Johnny Depp is the Invisible Man, which is
He's competing against himself.
Yes.
Derek, you're losing more. You're losing more. Oh, yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
How am I
Russell Crowe,
losing
Javier
more because he's
Bardem.
wanting to make another movie 5 years in the future? And Nate, did you just
Because it's
why
a
did you
conspiracy.
let Dark
He's
Universe
intentionally-
use the same graphic that Heroes used on its TV show for their logo? I need to know why you let that happen, Nate.
they didn't ask me.
I will say this. Johnny Depp is intentionally sinking his own ship so that he can rise again as the Invisible Man.
I can't believe they didn't cast John Cena as it. That's all I'm saying.
I can't believe.
I mean, you wouldn't be able to see him. That's why.
But
Kevin
that's who
Bacon-
should be
how
the
would they-
Invisible
How
Man.
would they even? But the Invisible Man has to appear as visible once in order to kind of.
They got CGI and Hollywood magic. They could just superimpose some face on whoever that John Cena guy
You'll
is.
just see a baseball
No, but you
cap
still
just
wouldn't be able to
walking
see
around.
him.
Well, they could just use a different face.
Or how do you not know? Or maybe he is in that picture and we just don't see him.
Oh, mind blown,
Man.
to smithereens.
Well, anyway,
Wait, real quick.
Go ahead.
Mummy's budget 125 million. So ideally, it has to make about 250 to be.
it's not
profitable.
happening. It's not happening. It's not
Well,
happening.
250 worldwide. Never underestimate the staggering drawing power. of
Well,
Tom
worldwide.
Cruise
Yeah,
and
you
China.
always, Nate, you always get me with the worldwide. always
You
hit me with
forget
the
it's out
worldwide
there?
hotness.
Only in
You one of
America.
those
You
flat
lab
Earth
ass
motherfuckers?
bitch. You
know?
local ass bitch.
Flat Earth.
Alternative facts.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you guys for joining me today, and ladies and gentlemen and everyone in between, thank you for coming back to the Player Way podcast. Sorry that the format was a little different this time, but we wanted to prioritize the news and what's been breaking. This has been a crazy Tuesday to get all of this news on this Tuesday. There has to be some sort of vergence in the force on that particular day for all of these things to be happening at one time. Shout out to everyone who is affected by the things that are happening in the world. Keep your head up and always come back to us, and we'll help you understand how to get through all of this the player way. Thank you to my co-captains, Derek.
Good afternoon, evening, and good night. Derek is still corrupting the system in TX any day of the week.
And Nate.
Yeah, still putting the system back together.
All right. Go. Dang it. Nate, go to Nate first.
We'll see. We'll talk to y'all next week. We'll talk
and
to
it
y'all
is
next
now
week.
day 9 of the Ricketts outbreak. So you guys stay inside. People walking around bow-legged everywhere.
Thanks for listening to the Player Way podcast. Recorded at a single take from Los Angeles, California, Dallas, Texas, and Atlanta, Georgia, by Nathan Peterson, Derek Lewis, and BK Jackson. Our opening theme is titled Bound by Ricky Remedy, courtesy of Elysian Records. And our closing theme is titled Coconut King Diaries by Xander, spelled Zahnder. You can find this music by both Ricky Remedy and Xander, and many more tracks on SoundCloud. And remember, no matter what choices you make or paths you follow, just make sure you do it the player way. See you next week.